So hello everyone, and by the end of this video we are going to make a text area like this. It is going to show how many maximum characters the user is allowed to input and also display the characters as the user is writing them. Also, if the user ever exceeds the amount of characters, message is shown that the character limit has been exceeded, and then this message is going to disappear after 2 seconds. So yeah, if you like such content, make sure to like and subscribe. So as you saw from the intro, you already know what we are making, and the intro I'm probably going to make after this. Let's see if I make that. I don't even know how much it's going to take me, maybe 10 minutes, half an hour, 1 hour, I don't even know. All I know is that I'm just going to make a text area with limited number of input characters count the user can input, and it's going to have some nice styling, and we are going to use JavaScript to tell the user how much characters he has already inputted and so on. So let's see. First of all, I'm just going to make a empty HTML document, give it some name, and let's open this up in live preview. Yes, and empty HTML page, just what I need to start my day. Let's start with some, if I can type properly. I'm going to have my emmet has stopped working for some reason. So after a embarrassing Google search, I found out that there is text area tag, so we don't actually have to use the input tag or anything, which is really weird, but let's just ignore that for now. And then at the bottom, let's just have a span, and it's going to contain the number of characters, such as 3 out of let's say 30, something like that. And we can start with the styling. So as you already know, we are going to be relying on Tailwind. If you don't know Tailwind, don't worry, it's just CSS with class names. You will see how easy it is to use. We will start with first of all, let me take the CDN for the dev CDN, and now that it is there, let's make this div a flex. So with so the text area, it would be ideal if it is not taking up the entire width of the screen, so I'm just going to give it some max width. Okay, and let's also give it some height. Let's go ahead and so that's good enough for now, I guess. Also, I would like to disable the resize of this text area because it is annoying and we don't actually want our users to be able to resize this. So let's see, text area, disable resize, resize none. So okay, let's also go ahead and give it a border. Let's use purple, why not? Purple 500. Let's actually get our entire thing into main, and then we can give our main some padding so it's not on the edge of our screen. Let's also give some gap. Is it gap? No, we first need to make it flex call. Actually we yeah, let's actually give some margin here, a margin in the y direction, so my. Actually I want it in the bottom. Okay, fair enough. And also let's text large, so the text is large, font semi bold to make the text a bit bold because it is a heading with limited characters. When the user is going to start typing, this count should update, right? So let's do that first. I am going to include a JavaScript file here. So script is script.js, and also I am planning to make some big projects, so if you have any ideas, do let me know and I can work on those as well. let me write the keyword defer here. So the JavaScript is ran after all the DOM elements are loaded, so we can actually reference these elements in our JavaScript. Let's start with the text area and just add the event listener directly. So document dot query selector, I am just going to select the text area because there is only one of it in our entire page, otherwise we would have used ID or anything. And then add event listener on it to listen for the change event. There are two events usually when the input is concerned. There is an input event and then there is a change event. I don't actually remember what is the difference, but I'm sure you can look it up. We'll use the change event for now. And in the change event, this event is going to get fired whenever the user types in something. So let's just go ahead and console log the user typed something, so just so we can see that it is really working. I am going a bit slow for people who are just getting started, so nothing is logging, and then when I click outside to focus out, then the change event actually fired. So probably what the event we were looking for is input. As I am typing, you can see on the right side the count here, it is 10. It is logging every time I'm typing something. So that's the difference between change and input. There you go. What we also want is a reference to this span element. So let's go ahead and give it an ID called, should we call this, let's call it output, because this is single page and there is not much element, so we can call anything. In big projects, if I make some videos on them, I will teach you, or not teach you, I will show you how to name variables. So let's call it output here as well, or rather output element. We use the text area for tag name, and for IDs we prefix it with the hash symbol, hash output. We can also console the output element in the browser so we can see it, and apparently it is null. So what did I do wrong? I gave it a class name of output, not an ID. So let me change that to ID, and then we can see the span element is there. We don't actually need to log this. We will be updating this counter. Let's just go ahead and max char count. So this is going to be the maximum amount of characters the user will be able to input. Let me make it 8 for now, so it is easier for us to test. Let me just go ahead and console log e, and you will be probably wondering what this e is. This e is the event args that are passed to us when event of type input occurs. In this case, I already know that the element is in e.target, and then from there we can get the value of whatever we have typed in this text area. So let's see, this is one of the e that got console logged, and in this e, or rather event, we can see that there is something called a target, which is the text area. So target is the element that fired the event, and there is a lot more stuff here which we probably don't need right now. So e.target is the text area. So whatever user has typed, let's call it input, is equals to e.target dot value. In most input elements in HTML, when we refer them in JavaScript, we can use dot value in most cases to take the value of whatever the user has written. So this input is going to be the text, whatever is going to be in this text area, and it is going and this function is going to get called every time the user presses any key. I'm not going to console log everything from now on. I'll just explain what I'm going to do. We can output element dot text content is equals to, and then I'm going to use string interpolation to first say input, which is the input the user has typed, dot length, and then divide by, and then the max char count. So this will update the text content of the output element, and when I start typing, you can see that the count is getting updated. So one more thing you would have noticed is that right now, even if the count is greater than the max count, we are allowing the user to type and nothing is happening. So let's go ahead and check how to validate. If the input length is greater, we are going to change the value in the text area itself. If input dot length is greater than max char count, which means that the user has typed more than what is allowed. What we are going to do is e.target.value. e.target.value is equals to input dot, I think it's called substring or something. Let me confirm once. Substring, yep, we can call substring, and the starting value is 0 because we want to start from the starting, and the end index, not value, is going to be max char count. What this is going to do is, it will, whenever the user is typing anything more than what is allowed, the later characters are going to get omitted, and the text area value we are going to reset to the first 8 characters in this case. Let me go ahead and do this so it is not populated in this beginning. We are using input.length here, so even if we are removing the characters the user is typing, the input is the old string with more number of characters, so we can't really use input here. So I'll use e.target.value.length here, and now if I start typing, you can see that hello world. So if I am, trust me guys, I am pressing on R right now to complete the hello world we have all been completing, and nothing is happening. So now that nothing is happening, we also need to show the user a message of why he is not he or she is not able to type. So let's go ahead and alongside this span, actually I'm going to write another span. This is going to be our error message, or rather we can say warning message. By default it is going to have a class name of hidden in tailwind to make the display none. So now that this warning is hidden, we can see that it is hidden. Even if I save, nothing is happening because as you can see, display none. We are going to use this span to display whatever the error message is which we want to display. Let's make another function for this, show warning. It is going to take in the warning message, which is going to be string, and we will just show that warning. So let's go ahead and select warning message element. I believe I gave it warning ID this time and not class name. What I'm planning to do here is, this function we are going to call whenever we want to show any warning. Whenever this function is called, we take the warning message element and we set its text to the warning message that was passed in. What we want to do is warning message class list, or rather warning message element, sorry my bad, dot class list dot remove hidden. This is the class list is what you can use to add or remove classes from HTML in JavaScript. In this manner the CSS will get updated. So in this case, whenever the user is typing more, we can just say warning message, or rather show warning, and then we can write here that only the max char count characters are allowed. So characters are allowed. So now if I'm typing more, refresh the page, so I can type now, and when I type any extra characters more than what is allowed, message is shown that only 8 characters are allowed because 8 is our max char count. So the problem is, even if the user is going back into the text area and changing the text, this message is not updated, it is not hidden, so that's not good. So let's make another function here, hide warning. It is going to just set the hidden class back again. This hide warning we are going to do in else block of this. So what we are doing is, when the user types something and the characters are within range, the warning is going to be hidden, otherwise the warning is going to be shown. And now if I change this to such that the string is valid again, the warning is hidden automatically. One more thing, when the only 8 characters are allowed message is there and the user clicks on this text area to focus in, even on that time also I would like to hide that warning. I'm going to add another event listener on this text area. In this case I would like to listen for the focus event. There is also a focus out event, I believe. Yeah, focus out. Let's actually listen on focus in event, and in this case just hide the warning. the warning is there, and if I click outside and then click back in again, the focus is in and the warning we are hiding. Also, this is really annoying, the spell check. I really dislike spell check, so let's go ahead and disable spell check once and for all. So that's perfect. There are few things I want to implement. The first is that the warning message, I don't want it to permanently stay. It should go away after a few seconds, even if the user is not interacting with the page after getting this warning. What I'm going to do is give an optional parameter of timeout, and after this timeout the warning message is automatically going to be hidden. I can instantiate timeout to 0, or rather infinity in this case, because if the user is not providing any timeout, we don't actually want to hide the warning. Set timeout equal to the timeout value and call the hide warning in here. If I give it a timeout of 2 seconds, and if I type something after 2 seconds, this should automatically disappear. So that's one thing. The second thing I would want to implement is that I don't actually want to show the warning message down here. I want to show it on the right side above this text area. So regardless of where this text area is going to be placed, this hidden message will show on top of it, and it is going to not affect the layout of any other elements. Let's actually bring back the element so we can style with it. How this is done is by positioning the element absolutely, and I will also give this parent element tag of relative, and then I want the right to be 0. The right actually became 0 in this case, in this manner, because relative div, which in this case is the outer div, is covering the entire width of the screen. How we can probably fix that is actually put this text area into its own div element, because we want this warning message to be on top of text area, right? And then we don't need this to be relative anymore. We want this div to be relative, and then we will also give the max width and height to this div. And now this is going to have full width and height relative to its parent, so full w, or rather w full. These are just tailwind classes, by the way. This hidden message right now looks like it is part of this text area. So let's style it for a bit. Start with the background color first of all. Border black, padding 2, text extra small. Actually, just small might be enough. Rounded corners. What I also want is this should have a warning icon. I'm going to make a span for that icon, and then another span for the warning message, and this ID of warning, I'm going to actually give it down to this span element. So the warning message coming from JavaScript is going to be here, and our icon is going to be in the first span. So let me go ahead and some warning SVG, and the place where I like to take my icons is React icons. We can search for warning. Let's actually take this one. This SVG we can just copy and bring it back to our code. Perfect. We can actually let's just go ahead and hard code in some pixel values. Maybe 20 pixels on the height and 20 on the width. I think this is pretty good enough for me at least. Let's see how it is showing up with warning. We also need to make it so that this is going to be flex, and then the flex direction is going to be column, or rather row. I gave the right 0, but I didn't actually give the top, so let's give a top, and also let's give right of minus 20 pixel. Yep. Also give the icon a right margin of a bit, MR2. Yeah, perfect. And now we can hide this warning once again from, I believe we want to hide the entire container in this case. And also, as you would have noticed, we are using the warning message somewhere else and hiding it from somewhere else. So let me go ahead and give it another ID of warning container, and in the JavaScript we would have two of these elements, warning and warning container. The warning message element is going to be used for the text content, and the warning container element is going to be used to hide and unhide that element. Now let's go ahead and test this. If I can write some text, as soon as I write something more than what is allowed, warning message is shown to display that the user has fucked up, so he needs to regret his life decisions, make sure he knows all the knowledge of what he's typing. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. If you did like the video, you don't actually need to subscribe or like or anything, because I don't even know what the next video is going to be about. So if you have any suggestions, please feel free to let me know. I'll record the intro next.